Episode 39. A good long soak. 95 is shut down. One of my sunflowers broke. Best birthday ever. Greetings and welcome in to the Pawtuxet General, your source for all things Pawtuxetish. I am your host, Jess. This week, we have a special House in the Corner event, 2 incredible recipes, a gluten-free cookie, and my grandmother's soup for lean times, the Venus de Milo soup. How about a planter's punch? Well, we've got it. But first, I would like to thank our Patreon subscribers. These amazing folk are the apples, butter, sugar, and cinnamon in the fresh-baked apple pie that is the Pawtuxet General, without whom we would just be an empty crust. If you would like to join these sweet seasonal folk because you like what you hear, you can look up our page on patreon.com or simply follow the link in the show notes. So thank you. Well, first up, we've got a drink recipe in the extra large party size. So let's talk about Planter's Punch. Although origin stories conflict, the drink seems to have come from Jamaica. There is a rhyme attached to this recipe, and it goes like this: 1 of sour, 2 of sweet, 3 of strong, and 4 of weak. As this insinuates, so many variations can be made just switching up what you use for fruit for the sour, not to mention trying different rums for this drink. But ours is a size for a large party and is an old recipe that we found on Gatsby.org. So, this is our local party drink from way back and serves 30 glasses. Wow! Check it out! For this recipe, you will need 1/2 bottle, 12 ounces of fresh lime or lemon juice, 1 bottle sugar syrup or about 1¼ pounds of sugar, 1 1/2 bottles rum, 3 pounds ice and water. Mix all ingredients well in a large bowl. Decorate with fresh sliced fruit as desired. Makes about 30 4-ounce glasses. And if that doesn't do it, nothing will. Enjoy with 15 of your closest friends and you'll be the hit of the party. Let's talk about gluten-free almond stars. When I was working at Little Falls, I was challenged to come up with gluten-free options for most of my dishes. These cookies were made of a customer's request for a simple gluten-free cookie. So I came up with this. Almond stars. They're so delicate and delicious. Let's get into it. For this recipe, you will need a sifter, 3 cups of sugar, 1 1/2 cups softened butter, 3 eggs, 3 teaspoons of vanilla, 5 1/4 cups of gluten-free flour, 1 1/2 cups almond flour, 1 1/2 teaspoons baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon salt, 1 1/2 teaspoon xanthan gum, several cookie sheets covered with parchment paper, a mixer, a star cookie cutter, and a rolling pin or bottle. First, preheat your oven to 375 degrees. Then cream the butter and the sugar in the mixer until fluffy. Scrape the bowl sides before you add the eggs and vanilla, and then mix those together, scraping them down from time to time until fully incorporated. Then, sift together the gluten-free flour, almond flour, baking soda, salt, and xanthan gum. Add these to the mixer, 2 cups at a time, to prevent getting hit in the face with flour. Nobody likes that. When the dough is mixed, take it out of the mixer and form it into 3 balls. Roll 1 to 1/2 inch thick and cut the stars. Put them on a cookie sheet and pop them into the oven. While these cook, roll out the next batch and so forth. Bake them all right away. When the dough is mixed, take it out of the mixer and form it into 3 balls. Roll 1 to 1/2 inch thick and cut the stars. Put them on a cookie sheet and pop them into the oven. While those cook, roll out the next batch and so forth. Bake them all right away. This dough doesn't sit well. You could also decorate with sliced almonds for an additional crunch. They bake until just barely golden around the edge, about 9 minutes. Longer if yours are thicker. Let sit to cool, if you can. Perfect for a big party. Enjoy! This soup is a crowd-pleasing, belly-filling, cheap Depression-era dish. Named after the restaurant that served it, the Venus de Milo soup is a perfect example of simple Depression-era cooking. My grandparents got married during the Depression, as talked about in episode 6, and my grandmother loved to stretch a buck while filling up a big family. Yankee Magazine published the exact same recipe that I have in her hand. Perhaps the restaurant handed out recipe cards. I've never seen any, but if you have, please send us a picture to my email, jess@pawtuxetgeneral.com. So, back to the recipe. For this quick recipe, you will need a Dutch oven or a good-sized pot, 1 pound Hamburg, her words, any ground meat or tofu will do, 1 large can of crushed tomatoes, 1 large can of veg all, 1 envelope Lipton onion soup mix, a half a cup of orzo, and 2 cups of water. Alrighty. Step 1, brown your ground beef until, well, lightly browned. Then, pour the excess grease from the pot and add the water. Then add the onion soup mix, tomatoes, and veg all. Simmer gently for about 15 minutes. Then add the orzo and simmer for 20 minutes more. This sits on the warm burner really well, so if life gets in the way, it's good to have this in your pantry's back pocket. I ate a lot of this soup as a young person, so if you want a taste of 1930s New England, give the Venus de Milo soup a try. And enjoy! The Broad Street Pawtuxet Village Bridge. The other day, we were lucky enough here in Pawtuxet to have our drought quenched a bit, but finally got some rain. Suddenly, the skies opened up and it was way too much water on the ground, too fast. 95 was shut down, flooded. All over Rhode Island streets flooded. But I, with my umbrella, went out into our village, and our good old bridge was looking beautiful. There was a long line of cars waiting their turn to cross the mouth of the Pawtuxet River. I was again in real time watching the magic of this bridge. To watch the river explode out of the cove side is breathtaking. A very good description and maps are available on bridgehunter.com website, where I found they have a great picture of the bridge during the 2010 flood. Just amazing. The bridge was built in 1884 and has been upgraded twice since, most notably in its looks in 1932. But on Friday, September 30th, 2011, the Pawtuxet River Authority, the Narragansett Indian Tribe, the Narragansett Bay Estuary Program all hosted the rededication of the falls. The waterfall that I grew up with was demolished, but in its place is a gentle step that local fish are seen jumping up to get to the river. Check it out online or hopefully in person. Catch a little Pawtuxet Village magic for yourself. It is the border between Warwick and Cranston in Rhode Island, USA. It is on the National Register of Historic Places, and without a doubt, one of my favorite views ever. So check it out. I want to tell you about my friend Mike and his electromagnetic pinball museum and restoration arcade. It's an all-inclusive place to relax and share anything related to modern pinball, EM pinball, and arcade games. A group of pinball and arcade fans with an addiction to games of all kinds and Lego too. $10 gets you free play on pinball and arcade games all day. You can find them at 881 Main Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, or online at www.electromagneticpinballmuseum.com. And now, a special edition of our House on the Corner series, The Cohasset Horror. The following is a true story, only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. It is September 2015, and I am hired as a production manager for a television unit. I will coordinate the shoot and see that all things run smoothly. I arrive at the McMansion on the tucked-away, nondescript suburban neighborhood, just between Pawtuxet and Boston. The house is early 60s, with all the amenities expected of the early upper crust. A pool, a hot tub, and a jacuzzi are part and parcel for the deal, and before they will start to break systematically, I will enjoy them immensely. In my career, I had worked in many reputedly haunted places, and I had had encounters with strange noises and phantom radio voices throughout my time through strange old Providence. But nothing that I have seen or heard will prepare me for what is about to manifest in this average and unimportant house in Cohasset. I will stay in the house where I work, and it will stay in me for the rest of my life. The trouble would start early. On the second night of my stay, I stay up late and prepare a call sheet detailing tomorrow's work. It's a grueling task, and I'm deep in concentration when I hear, on the wall, 1 foot from my head, 3 loud, distinct knocks. Knock, knock, knock. Like it was done on purpose. I run outside to the other side of the wall, where there is nothing but a fenced-in yard. Nothing could have done that except from inside the wall. Chilled, I go back inside. On my way back into the office, I hear a sudden earth-shattering crash come from the office. Oh crap, I think. That sounded just like the damn printer crashing onto the floor. I run into a pristine office where nothing has been moved or touched. It makes no sense. I heard what I heard, and I heard the printer crash to the floor. Nobody woke up, though. Only I seem to have heard the noise. The first weekend sends my coworker Lenny out for a bike ride. Then it sends him back with an injury. He skinned his knee up badly, but nothing I'm sure that a decent first aid kit wouldn't cure. So, I make sure he's attended to and has plenty of bandages. Now, we have this rotten landlord at this location. He's mean, and he's intrusive, and he's deceptive, and I'm convinced that he's waiting to sabotage us while we're out shooting at a different location. So I assign a production assistant, Stefan, to always be at the property while we are out. Stefan is cool, and he obliges us. We're driving to the new location. I hate it. A cop just pulled us over. My phone rings. It's Stefan. "What's up, dude?" I ask. "Are you guys messing with me?" he asks back. "I'm late for a location. I don't have time to mess with you. What's up?" The line goes quiet, and I grow impatient. "I hear footsteps in the house," he says. "They walked right up to me on the couch and stopped right next to me," he said with his voice shaking. "Wow, no, that wasn't us messing with you, Stefan. Stay safe," I say, trying to calm him. Of course, there is rumor and speculation by this point, and I have already told the other crew of my night of noises. The rumors get back to the landlord, who makes a bigger stink than usual and forces us to sign a lease addendum, specifically stating that we will be held liable if rumors of this haunting hurt the potential sale of this property. It is the first time I've ever seen the word ghost used in a legal document. The landlord is nervous about this issue. Meanwhile, Lenny's leg is getting worse and not better. It simply will not heal, and cellulitis is starting to set in. He will need to see a doctor. We find out that somebody, the husband of the landlord's girlfriend, died in this house suddenly. We don't know how. Somebody says heart attack. My late-night work and phantom noises continue throughout my month at the chateau. Footsteps seem to be the most common trick of the mystery guest. Then, things turn darker. The machines all malfunction. The hot tub backs up with raw sewage from the septic. The entire septic system backs up and makes us all sick. There are work crews and digging and noise and aggravation. I take a short trip home, where my wife gives me salt and sage and a rope to tie in a knot in case it gets scary. When I return to Cohasset, for one last night, I smudge the house with the sage, sprinkle the salt, and tie the knot. I leave the charm in the office. I am lying in bed, inadvertently unable to rest. It is 2 a.m. I hear Lenny get up and use the loo. He limps back to his bedroom. It is 3 a.m. I hear footsteps in the hallway outside my room. They are slow and deliberate. They are not the footfalls of anybody staying in the house. They come to the door of my room and they stop. The door opens by itself. The door closes by itself. The footfalls now make noise in my own room. They walk up to my bed and stop deliberately. Then I feel the weight on my bed, like someone has sat down on the bed next to me. From here, I am frozen. I cannot move. I try to scream, but the air gets stuck in my throat. At the foot of my bed, in a slightly lit corner of the room, I see a dark shadow growing together like a cloud. It rises and solidifies to form the rough shape of a large man. I try to run away from it, but I am stiff, still trying to let out a scream. It jumps on me. The bed sinks down under the weight of his unseen knees. Shadow hands wrap around my throat and hold me down to smother me. It lasts for about 15 seconds before stopping abruptly and fading into the shadows of the room. Then I can move. Again. Of Lenny, his wound wouldn't heal until he went home, even on medication. Of course nobody believes any of it, and nobody else heard or saw a thing. And I can never prove to you that it happened. But I'd advise you all to do a good amount of research on any home that you're looking to buy, ever, because this proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you cannot tell if a house is haunted by the way it looks, and that the seller of the house will make people shut up about it. Thank you again for joining us here at the PG. If you've got one, reach out with a ghost story. We'd love to hear it. Our email is jess@pawtuxetgeneral.com. We can't wait to hear from you. But until then, I'll meet you right back here next time at the Pawtuxet General. A Something for Posterity production, pre-recorded in Pawtuxet.